Hey guys, Pro1701 here, and today we're going to be ranking Doctor Who Season 12. And I do mean Season 12 from the classic series, Tom Baker's first season as the Doctor. It is one of my favorite seasons of Doctor Who, and I think it's honestly flawless. I don't think there's any bad stories in this one. So let's go ahead and get started. There are 5 stories in this season, and at the bottom we're going to have the Soltaran Experiment. Now, this is a nice story. I like that it's only a two-parter. It doesn't overstay its welcome. We see a Sultaran return here on Earth during the time of the Ark in Space. And there's a few humans there he's doing experiments on. And the Doctor, Harry, and Sarah Jane have to stop him. I like this one because it's not a bad story. It's a good story, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. I think if it had been 4 parts, it might have ran a little long in the tooth, but I think 2 parts is perfect for this. And I really enjoy Harry in this one. It's nice to see him get to use the Sonic. Tom Baker famously broke, I believe it was his collarbone while filming this, and there are some scenes where you can tell it's Tom's stunt double doing the fighting when he's fighting the Sultaran. You can tell it's not Tom. But it is a good story, and it fits as a good two-parter. Number 4 on the list is Revenge of the Cybermen, which is one of my favorite Cybermen stories. I think it's a very underrated story. I know a lot of people would call it the one weak point of Season 12. I actually think it's grossly underrated. I love Revenge of the Cybermen. It's one of my favorite Cybermen stories. I love the Cyberman design in it. I like the fact the Cybermen in this one are a little more emotional. I love Tom's interactions with the Cybermen here. He's not afraid of them. He talks smack to them. I enjoy the political infighting between the aliens down on the planet that the Cybermen are trying to destroy. I like the little struggle for power going on there. It's a nice little B plot, and it has a lot of those wonderful moments like the Harry Sullivan is an imbecile. It has some really great moments for Tom. It has some beautiful location work. I love the location work in the caves. You know, and a lot of other classic Doctor Who seasons, they probably would have had to CSO that, and as Underworld has showed us, that looks terrible. So I love the fact they actually got to film on location since they actually had extra budget going into this story, which is probably the only time that's ever happened in classic Who anyway. So yeah, this one is really really nice, and I especially love the new version of it that's on the season 12 box set with the enhanced special effects. Those they make the story even better. So give it a chance if you haven't seen it. It's better than a lot of people give it credit for. Number 3 is the Ark in Space. This is, I think, one of the top 10 probably Doctor Who stories of all time, at least top 25 of all time. It's really really good. This is one of the ones I have earliest memories of. I absolutely love this story. It's the one that has Tom's great, wonderful speech about humanity. I love the character of Noah and watching his gradual transformation. I still think that scene when he pulls his hand out of his pocket at the end of it's either part 1 or part 2. I think that's one of the greatest cliffhangers ever, and just to watch his gradual transformation, it's really neat. I know it's painted bubble wrap, but as a kid, my memory of that one was so much scarier. Because I saw it as a kid, and then I didn't see it again for a long time until I was in my 20s. And my memory of it in that time was so much creepier and scarier. But it's a good story. It's a great script, and I really really enjoy it. It's a must see for Doctor Who. Number 2 on the list is actually Genesis, and we'll get to why. Genesis is amazing. Definitely a top 10 Doctor Who story, a top 5 Doctor Who story. I mean, Genesis isn't really overrated. I mean, I know some people could argue it is, and I would listen to their arguments on it, but I don't think it is. I think it deserves all the praise it gets. You know, it's really, really, really amazing. It's a great script, really touches on the horrors of war and what it can lead people to do. It introduces Davros, and Davros is great. Of all of Davros's appearances, I think this is his best one. I especially love at the end when he kind of gets his comeuppance, the dangers of, you know, the creator being destroyed by his creations. There's a part of me that kind of wishes Davros had never come back. that that had been his fate. There's part of me that wishes that. We've had some great Davros stories since, of course. Just the idea of this guy who's so full of himself, has such an ego, and thinks he can create the perfect creations, having them turn on him and living just long enough to learn his folly before his folly destroys him. I love that. Tom is great here. Tom and Davros have some great interactions here. The speech about the virus in the capsule is really, really good. But would you do it? Yes, I would. That's fantastic script writing. Plus, you have the side character of Nigel, who's fantastic. I actually absolutely love Nigel's character in this. So I really enjoy that. Doctor Who is one. Genesis of the Daleks is one of those stories that anyone who is a Doctor Who fan needs to watch. I actually enjoyed getting to watch it in theaters back when season 12 re-released. They showed it in theaters, the omnibus version of it in theaters, and I got to enjoy that, and it's really, really good. And number one on the list for me is Robot, and I do think Genesis is objectively a better story. But Robot, subjectively, I just love Robot so much. It's my favorite post-regeneration story as well, simply because of how much I like it. One, I love Tom. I'm a huge Tom Baker fan. I love him. He hits the ground pretty much running here. Tom is one of those doctors. He pretty much has his character down in his first episode. He just immediately clicks as the doctor he's having a lot of fun with. There's so many humorous moments in this. Him and Elizabeth Sladen just click immediately. I love how his interactions with the Brigadier are a little bit different than John's. That's pretty neat, but still their neat little own thing. I love the Robot. I actually enjoy it's obviously a person in a suit, obviously, blatantly obviously, but it's endearing to me. Plus, I remember showing the girl I was dating at the time. I remember showing her this episode, and we got to watch that one together. We didn't watch a lot of classic Who together. She preferred the modern series, but we watched this one together, and she really enjoyed this one too. She also really enjoyed The Man in the Suit, and that kind of became a running topic conversation of us. We'd talk about how much we liked this episode, or we'd walk around going, "Oh, I've killed my creator, oh," and that helped bond us together. And he's one of the few people I've dated that I regret breaking up with. Or I regret that we broke up. So that always holds a special place for me there. But it's just also a fun story. I mean, it's kind of silly. Like the tank that shows up at one point is very obviously like a real remote-controlled tank. But sometimes that is enduring in classic Who, because it was done on a budget. And just subjectively, I have a very strong fondness for this one, even if there are stories in the season that are objectively better. Because I honestly think Genesis of the Daleks and Ark in Space are objectively better stories. And if I was doing them objectively, Genesis would be 1 and Ark would be 2. But these are ones I'm doing it my own personal favorites. This is definitely number 1. If you haven't seen Robot, give it a shot. It's really, really good. It's a lot of fun. It's a little silly, but it's a lot of fun. So those are all 5 stories from Season 12, Tom Baker's first season, ranked. What do you think? Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? I'm curious what you think of Robot and what you think of Revenge of the Cybermen. Comment down below. Let me know exactly what you think. I am curious, and I always love interacting with the people who watch my videos. Click the bell for notifications, click the subscribe button, click the like button. Let me know exactly everything you're thinking about. And most importantly, as always, stay safe, and thank you for watching.